What's up? Good morning, everybody. Good to be here. What's up, Joe? Good morning, sir. Good to see you. Happy Friday, everybody. It's the weekend. I hope everyone has an exciting one planned. Howdy, howdy. Let's see here. And it looks like the memo is out. Some people are already, man, a bunch of you guys are tweeting about that, which is exciting. What's up, Andrew? How are you, buddy? Plans for the weekend? Do I have plans for the weekend? I do. I'm gonna be in the studio some. I'm gonna get on stage a little bit. And honestly, I'll be totally honest with you guys. Super Bowl Sunday, I'm trying to find something to do because I honestly do not want to watch the Super Bowl. I don't know if anyone else is in my position too. I genuinely don't want to watch the fucking thing. I am so and I love the game of football. I really do. I enjoy the game. I think it's a beautiful sport. I like watching it, but the NFL, between the discrimination against Colin Kaepernick, between just the way the league has made the game not even fun anymore, I just can't stand it anymore. What is that thing that you called sports ? Yeah, so I don't know. Super Bowl Sunday, I'm looking for something to do because I really don't want to watch the game. My girlfriend invited me into a Super Bowl party. I genuinely do not want to go. So I'm trying to do something. I would love to just go get on stage somewhere, but I have a feeling nothing's gonna really be going on because of because of the game. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. What do you guys have planned? Any cool plans for the weekend? Got a bunch of you guys are tweeting about the memo. So I guess it's been released today. So we'll jump into it. How is Lucy? Lucy's good. She's always good. Lucy's got it made. Anything planned for the Jimmy Dore Show reaching 300,000 subscribers? We're almost there. Nothing planned that I know of. Maybe we'll all go out for sandwiches or something. I don't know. But thank you very much. What's up, DC? What's up, Kimmy? Lucy the Diva? Yeah, big time. Big time. So for anyone that's new, what's my biggest pet peeve? People that type nom. Like nom nom nom. That's not my biggest pet peeve, but since we're in a chat, that's the first thing I think of. I just find it irritable. I just find it nom nom nom. Would you ever say that? Would you say that? Would you be like, this is delicious. Nom nom nom. What a great meal you made. Nom nom. You would never say that, would you? It's annoying when it's typed out. I just don't. I find it irritating when I'm with somebody and they do that. If we're on Facebook. Andrew put hashtag no nom Ron. I love it. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, I just don't get it. When I'm with someone and they check me in on Facebook, they're like, we're at dinner. And they're like, oh, this ramen's delicious. Nom. I'm like, oh, I'm tagging myself. I don't want to be. And then all of a sudden you're just like, I don't want to be out with this person. I have friends that do it too, and but yeah, that's the first thing I'm thinking of as far as an annoying quirk goes. People that type nom, it's irritating to me. Guys, we are at 33 people. You know what that means. The show has officially begun. Get your news on with Ron. I want to know what's going on. We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. I want to know what's We'll go through it together. We'll make it our own. Get your news on with Ron. If you wanna know what's going on, get our news on with Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means you guys tweet me articles at Ron Placone, or you post it on our Reddit subsection, reddit.com/r/GetYourNewsOnWithRon. And that's how we build the show. You guys tell me what we're going to do. We literally learn the news together. I just got up. It's my morning because I live in Los Angeles, where it is only 10 a.m., which in comedian time, 10 a.m. is like 6 or 7 a.m. That's what I'm sticking with anyway. All right, a bunch of you guys have already put something in about the I've already put something in about the memo. So let's talk about it. We got a couple tweets on that. And some folks over in the YouTube chat. By the way, some quick housekeeping. I know over on the YouTube chat, or over on the YouTube, rather, you know, some of you guys are watching this on the Live Me app. Some of you guys are watching this on the YouTube. I know for some reason on YouTube, sometimes it like maxes out whenever I play the theme song or any other song. I'm not sure why that is exactly. I tried to adjust some of the settings on the stream, and it's not changed anything. If any of you guys know more than me as far as like streaming goes, let me know. Like leave a comment below, you know, or put something in the chat, and you know, hopefully my Pasta, who's monitoring the YouTube chat for me, will get it to me. But if any of you guys have any tech insight on that, please do let me know. As you guys know, this is a very new show. It's still growing. It's still finding its identity and its wings. It's still evolving. So do I use OBS? I do not use OBS. My mic is in front of me, but I don't use OBS because I can't. Right now, I'm not streaming on multiple platforms simultaneously. I am streaming on YouTube and then on Live Me on my phone because so anyway, I don't have because I can't. Live Me isn't good with a third party stream distribution, so you know, I can't use a service to stream in multiple places. So anyway, housekeeping over. Frosty Buckets, TYT, and other fake left outlets are making the memo out to be nothing, and the far right Fox News peeps are making it out to be everything. That's not. Yeah, I mean, a lot of left outlets are trying to say this is no big deal. A lot of right-wing outlets are trying to say this is everything. Their motivation may or may not be great. Tri Pazzo says capitalism is my pet peeve. That's a pretty good one. I don't know which is more severe, an economic system that has crushed tons and tons of people over the years and continues to be predatory, or people typing nom. Tri Pazzo, I feel like we're on equal playing fields here. I feel like we both nailed it. You with capitalism, me with people typing nom. We've identified the world's problems. Honestly, if we can just knock out those two, I think we can have world peace. All right. So let's get into the memo. Is the memo nothing? I don't necessarily know yet. I'm learning today. So let's learn together. Here's something from the Federalist that Bree sends in. Here's the House Intel memo on FISA abuse. It was just released, and read it here. Hashtag we don't do noms here. Love it. Had they released the full context of that info, they wouldn't have. What's up, Cam? They got a FISA warrant. All right, so here we go. The House Intel memo on FISA abuse was just released. Read it here. A widely anticipated House Intelligence Committee memo on alleged FISA abuses by federal authorities was just released to the public. Read it here. A report issued by the House Intelligence Committee on alleged surveillance abuses by federal law enforcement authorities was just released to the public. You can read it here. A full copy of the report is also embedded below. All right, so let's read it below. This is small as fuck. All right, Chairman of the House Select Committee, Mr. Chairman, on January 29th, 2018, the House, how long is it? This is freaking long. All right. Yeah, there's no way I'm reading this whole thing on a stream. That's just too much. So let's go to a better web link. This text is also very small. Okay, let's go. We're at the house.gov website where we're going to unpack this together. Reader's Digest version of a book report nobody read. Yeah, long time no see. I know, Cam. It's been a while. If Trump's layer gets HRC before 2020, he gets my vote. I don't know about that. I don't think I could never vote for Donald Trump. Edwin suggests, getting back to my Super Bowl thing, I go on a bike ride. There's no traffic on the roads during the Super Bowl. Edwin, that's a good freaking idea. What I really want is I want to find people to go play hurling with. So if anybody here hurls like I do, and I don't mean vomit, I mean hurl. I mean like actual, you know. All right, cool. And this document is not loading at all. Story Grub, I'll make a Get Your Nom with Ron drawing next. Love it. Hashtag no nom Ron. Go Eagles, says Isaac. I wish you luck, Isaac. The NFL has really just, I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of the NFL. It's nothing against any of the teams, one way or the other. I mean, I'm not a fan of either one, to be honest, but I'm just so sick of the NFL. It doesn't matter who's in the game to me at this point. Okay, this is not loading. All right, so we got to move on. So let's find out what's going on with the warrant. Or excuse me, not the warrant. What am I saying? All right, this is from Edwin. This is from the New York Times. House Republicans release secret memo accusing Russian investigators of bias. All right, we're just going to have to read it from this. The document over at whitehouse.gov is not loading for me. That's probably because so many people are clicking it right now. House Republicans released a previously secret memo on Friday in which they accused senior officials at the FBI and Justice Department of bias in the early stages of the Russia investigation. The House Intelligence Committee made the memo public after a week of pleading from senior national security officials not to disclose the classified details, reading it aloud on a conference call with reporters after President Trump declassified the memo. A lot of people should be ashamed of themselves, and much worse than that, said Mr. Trump on Friday. And he would know. The memo alleges that senior government officials favored Democrats over Republicans and accuses federal law enforcement officials of abusing their authorities when they sought permission to surveil a former Trump advisor, Carter Page. Democrats say it is a Republican attempt to push a narrative that would undercut the investigation into Russia's 2016 election meddling and possible coordination with the Trump campaign. Earlier on Friday, Mr. Trump said top officials and investigators at the FBI have politicized the secretive investigative process. The early morning Twitter post, well, technically he's right. That's not a false statement. And that should loan itself to be an indicator as to how ridiculous and absurd all of this has become. It's gotten to the point where you almost find yourself saying, hey, Trump made a good point. That's how absurd this bullshit has become. The early morning Twitter post reinforced reports that Mr. Trump, in allowing the memo to be released, is seeking to clean house and upper ranks of the FBI and Justice Department, even at the risk of losing his own FBI director, Christopher A. Wray. Earlier this week, the FBI made an unusual public plea not to release the document. Well, yeah, of course, because it makes them look bad, which could reveal classified sources. Yeah, okay. Mr. Trump had an opportunity to block the memo, which his own top security officials have requested because of national security concerns. The document was written by aides in response to Mr. Trump's Twitter post on Friday. Representative Adam B. Schiff, the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, who occasionally has an okay idea but is so into the Russia investigation he sounds like a drooling moron at this point, Oh, that's not in the article. I added that. Said it is unthinkable that the top elected, should release classified information to attack the FBI. This is so stupid. This is so stupid. And is there anything in this article that actually says what the memo has? Of course not. Of course not. So we're still unable to get to the memo itself. This is so dumb. I mean, this is so freaking stupid. Of course, the intelligence agencies had a favoritism against Trump. I mean, all right, Cody sent something. Here we go. Let's see if this actually loads. All right. Mr. Chairman, here's the actual document itself. The president understands, blah, blah, blah. All right. So this memorandum provides members an update on significant facts related to the committee's ongoing investigation into the Department of Justice and the FBI and their use of FISA during the 2016 presidential election cycle. Our findings, which are detailed below, raise concerns with the legitimacy and legality of certain DOJ and FBI interactions with the FISA courts and represent a troubling breakdown of legal processes established to protect the American people from abuses related to the FISA process. On October 21st, 2016, DOJ and FBI sought and received a FISA probable cause order authorizing electronic surveillance on Carter Page from the FISC. Page is a U.S. citizen who served as a volunteer advisor to the Trump presidential campaign. Consistent with requirements under FISA, the application had to be the first certified by the director or deputy director of the FBI. It then required the approval of the Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, or the Senate-confirmed Assistant Attorney General for the National Security Division. The FBI and DOJ obtained one initial FISA warrant targeting Carter Page and 3 FISA renewals from the FISC. As required, a FISA order on an American citizen must be renewed every 90 days, and each renewal requires a separate finding of probable cause. Then Director James Comey signed 3 FISA applications in question on behalf of the FBI, and Deputy Director Andrew McCabe signed 1. Then DAJ Sally Yates, then Acting DAJ Dana Bonte, and DAJ Rod Rosenstein each signed 1 or more FISA applications. Due to sensitive nature of foreign intelligence activity, FISA submissions before the FISC are classified. As such, the public's confidence in the integrity of the FISA process depends on the court's ability to hold the government to the highest standards. However, the FISA's rigor in protecting the rights of Americans, which is reinforced by 90-day renewals, is necessarily dependent on the government's production to the court of all material and relevant facts. This should include information potentially favorable to the target of the FISA application that is known by the government. In the case of Carter Page, the government had at least 4 independent opportunities to accurately provide an accounting of the relevant facts. However, our findings indicate that material and relevant information was omitted. So basically, they wanted to continue spying on this guy, but they were omitting significant information. They were just omitting that, and we'll see if they were actually playing by the rules. The dossier compiled by Christopher Steele on behalf of the DNC and Hillary Clinton campaign formed an essential part of the Carter Page FISA application. Steele was a longtime FBI source who was paid over $160,000 by the DNC and Clinton campaign. Okay, so this is the Steele dossier. We know that this was a spy who was paid by the DNC and the Clinton campaign to investigate ties to Russia. Here we go. Here's a little bit of meat, it looks like. Neither the initial application in October 2016 nor any of the renewals disclose or reference the role of the DNC, Clinton campaign, or any party campaign in funding Steele's effort, even though the political origins of the Steele dossier were then known to senior DOJ and FBI officials. So they omitted that piece of information. The initial FISA application notes Steele was working for a named U.S. person, but does not name Fusion GPS and principal Glenn Simpson, who was paid by a U.S. law firm representing the DNC. The application does not mention Steele was ultimately working on behalf of and paid by the DNC and Clinton campaign, or that the FBI had separately authorized payment to Steele for the same information. The Carter Page FISA application also cited extensively a September 23rd Yahoo News article, which focused on Page's 2016 trip to Moscow. This article does not corroborate the Steele dossier because it is derived from information leaked by Steele himself to Yahoo News. Steele was suspended and then terminated as an FBI source for what the FBI defines as the most serious of violations and unauthorized disclosure to the media of his relationship with the FBI in an October 30th, 2016 Mother Jones article. Steele should have been terminated for his previous undisclosed contacts with Yahoo and other outlets in September before the Page application was submitted to the FISA in October. But Steele improperly concealed from and lied to the FBI about those contacts. Steele's numerous encounters with the media violated the cardinal rule of source handling, maintaining confidentiality, and demonstrated that Steele had become a less than reliable source for the FBI. Before and after Steele was terminated as a source, he maintained contact with DOJ via then Associate Deputy Attorney General Bruce Orr. During this time period, Orr's wife was employed by Fusion GPS. According to the head of the FBI's Counterintelligence Division, Assistant Director Bill Priestep, corroboration of the Steele dossier was in its infancy at the time. After Steele was terminated, a source validation report conducted by an independent unit within the FBI assessed Steele's reporting as only minimally corroborated. Yet, in January of 2017, Director Comey presented President-elect Trump on a summary with the Steele dossier. The Page FISA application also mentions information regarding fellow Trump campaign advisor George Papadopoulos, but there is no evidence of any cooperation or conspiracy between Page and Papadopoulos. The Papadopoulos information triggered the opening of an FBI counterintelligence investigation in late July 2016 by FBI agent Pete Strzok. Strzok was reassigned by the special counsel's office to FBI Human Resources for improper text messages with his mistress, where they both demonstrated a clear bias against Trump in favor of Clinton, whom Strzok had also investigated. The Strzok-Lisa Page texts also reflect extensive discussions about the investigation, orchestrating leaks to the media, and include a meeting with Deputy Director McCabe to discuss an insurance policy against President Trump's election. Marine, thank you for the star points. Okay, so let's unpack this. This is in regards to Steele losing his credibility in the eyes of the FBI, yet still maintaining close contact as the Fusion dossier was unfolding. Because he had ins at the FBI, and those ins at the FBI had a vendetta against Donald Trump. Now, why do the intelligence agencies not like Trump? I will say the fact that the intelligence agencies were not for Donald Trump, that's something we already know. We already know that. We've talked about that on this show. We've talked about it over on the Jimmy Dore show. There's so many. And we know why that is. It's not because all the intelligence agencies recognize Trump for being a pretty morally despicable guy, which he is, just like any other Republicans. Trump's policies are Republican policies per usual. Why do they not like Trump? Because they think in the economy of war. Keep in mind, all these intelligence professionals that some people on the left think are their allies now, they think in the economy of war. They think in the economy of defense. They think in the mind of endless war. If you ever said to any one of them, hey, why don't we end the wars and bring the troops home and invest this money at home, they would look at you like you were an alien. They would look at you like you just said, hey, why don't we take off all our clothes and dance in a field together? Trump is the pretty mask removed from the corruption, who points out. Exactly. That's why they don't like Trump. So, yeah, they probably, it's not surprising at all that they bent some rules in this investigation. And we're trying to overturn every rock they possibly could. And now we're finding out that the rules were very much bent in their favor. And, you know, a lot of the people that are politicizing this on both sides, they're doing it for political reasons. The right wing that's making it out like this is everything, they're doing that for political reasons. Because honestly, the fact that the FBI or any intelligence agency would have kind of bent the rules and cheated a little bit to be against Donald Trump, that's nothing new. That's not surprising at all. Now we have some more information confirming it, but it's not surprising at all. And the fact that, some people on the establishment Democratic side, I wouldn't even call that the left. I would call that the establishment Democrat side is trying to completely dismiss this so we can go back to Russiagate, 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 Russiagate. That is, that was also for political gain because they just want to go back to Russiagate. So I think this kind of confirms some suspicions we already had. As Cody pointed out, Julian Assange pointed all this out a few months ago. Joe is saying, so that this is nothing. Hoot Hoot is saying that Release the Dud already read what was in there elsewhere. So, I mean, yeah, it's not like it's like completely null and void information. It's not like it's not interesting to note. But as far as like, oh, are our minds blown because the intelligence agencies kind of bent their rules so they could be against Donald Trump? No, they're against Donald Trump, and we know that. They're against Donald Trump for all the wrong reasons. They're not against Donald Trump because of the reason I'm against Donald Trump or the reason you're against Donald Trump. They're against Donald Trump because they don't have confidence he can just continue the war economy as usual. The media is hyping this up for ratings. Yeah, the right-wing media is. Like CNN and MSNBC, which are the more kind of, well, they're also right-wing media, but they're like a different section of the right? They're kind of not wanting this because they'd rather just continue to hyperbolize Russiagate, and this could make that harder. That's why MSNBC didn't want this memo released. MSNBC wants to continue Russiagate until the ratings show them they shouldn't. And this could compromise Russiagate. So they'd rather have Russiagate indefinitely than have a short-term ratings boost with this memo, and then they kind of have to go back to business as usual, under-reporting on issues and hyperbolizing gossip, which is what they all do. That's what MSNBC does. That's what Fox News does. That's what CNN does. So that's why they don't want this memo released. Fox News wants the memo released because, politically, they're part of the establishment GOP right. CNN breaking news. CNN is still on the air. Hoot Hoot says, I like that. And we got a couple other chats. Story Grub says, Nina is no nonsense. I'll make a Get Your Nom On with Ron drawing next. Stephen Carl says, we go hurling in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Are you going on Sunday? I think I just broke a string. Shit. I don't know if you guys saw that. I just broke a string. That's how excited I got over the idea of going hurling. We're going to have to get through the, without my high E string, we're going to have to get through the theme later without it. So yeah, I mean, I guess that that's the information we got. My guitar was so excited that it broke a string. And I guess my guitar is a sucker for corporate media. It was like, oh, this is going to be everything. I'm breaking a string. And it's like a guitar that wasn't worth breaking a string over. We know the intelligence agencies don't like Trump. We know that they don't follow the rules when it's convenient for them. We know that they can spy on whoever they want. We know that if they don't want to renew that warrant, they're not going to. We know that they really bend the rules on what probable cause means. We know that they're going to omit information about powerful people if it's convenient for them, i.e. Clinton and the dossier. DC points out my guitar gently weeps. Hoot Hoot does as well. But you know what? I am excited about the idea of potentially going hurling on Super Bowl Sunday. So, or maybe I'll go on a bike ride like Edwin suggests. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to another story. We spent a nice chunk of time on that. This is from Sean. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and give you a Get Your News On with Ron retweet. And I think I gotta give some of those other ones a Get Your News On with Ron retweet as well. Noons did, and he would make a good clickbait title maker. I'm with you. Let me give Edwin Get Your News On with Ron retweet. All right, so a couple of you guys have sent articles about the same topic. I feel like we covered it. We read the memo itself. I think we kind of summed it up. I mean, if any of you guys got some stuff to add, let me know. I read it for the first time, so I'm just kind of unpacking it on the spot with you guys. Let's go to Sean's story. Let's see. Here we go. Here's a few interesting takes. Jeremy Scahill tweets, the memo doesn't come close to anything what Hannity and company wanted to say. It is clearly cherry-picked. It is also laughable. As the Democrats and the FBI allege that this memo harms national security. What a shit show of dishonesty across the board. I think that's a pretty good summary of what we just said in a much more succinct and well-put manner because it was a well-thought-out tweet. But yeah, I mean, I think like the right wing making it out like, oh, holy shit, that's bullshit. And the establishment Democrats, oh, no, this is going to hurt security. That's bullshit, too. We all know what the FBI does when they want to. We all know they bend the rules when they want to. We all know that they don't like Donald Trump. It's all just theater in the end, as Joe points out. And I'll tell you what, I would love nothing more than for the whole Russiagate thing on all sides to just be over tomorrow. Because what is this really? This is just the elite and the deep state trying to distract us from what's really going on. And what's really going on is that our system is broken beyond repair. And I would love to go hurling with anybody on Sunday. All right, let's go on to another topic here. Other Democratic governor candidates don't join Dennis Kucinich's call to end fracking. One of the Democrats running for governor is calling for an end to oil and gas drilling in Ohio. That's Dennis Kucinich. No surprise there. While Dennis Kucinich's four primary opponents aren't embracing that idea, they agree that more needs to be done to protect the environment. Kucinich, a former U.S. congressman and Cleveland mayor, says he wants to use eminent domain to shut down fracking wells and initiate a class action lawsuit to make fracking companies pay for damage to the environment. I'm with him. Those who have poisoned Ohio's people and the land will be made to pay, Kucinich said. Former state rep Connie Pillow legal battles, and taxpayers are going to have to pay those legal fees, as opposed to paying the consequence they have now via poison water wells, via destruction to the land, via their land prices plummeting, via not having access to clean drinking water. As opposed to all that. Former Ohio Supreme Court Justice Bill O'Neill also takes issues with his suggestion. Ending fracking is not the right answer, and initiating another class action lawsuit is clearly not the right answer. State Senator Joe Schiavone says fracking is important to parts of Ohio, but believes the state needs to be a better watchdog, which is this bullshit establishment speak for I don't want to do anything about fracking. That's what that is. And former Consumer Financial Bureau Director Richard Cordray agrees strict enforcement is key. As you know, when I was Ohio Attorney General, I prosecuted polluters who did not engage in responsible practices. By the way, when I did an ecology study on the effects of fracking in Western Pennsylvania, on an average, these oil and gas companies commit 2,800 infractions a year. I didn't misspeak. 2,800 infractions a year. They view it as the cost of doing business. That's all it is. In fact, I saw a lecture once where this guy made a beautiful analogy to what the EPA guidelines for fracking companies are. He said, when I was growing up, this was the person saying this, I lived in New Orleans, and every year we would go into, the heart of it in Bourbon Street for Mardi Gras. And they're very strict with parking during Mardi Gras. But, none of us wanted to drive. We were going to drink, right? So what they would do is they would just park in an area they knew they couldn't park in, and they knew they were going to get a ticket, and the ticket was $35. So they just drove with like 5 or 7 of them in a car and just planned on paying the ticket later. They were like, we're all just going to drive. We're going to take turns, who drives, so who gets the ticket on the record. And that's just the cost of doing business every year. It's well worth it. We all pay like $5. That's the analogy he gave for what the EPA, quote unquote, regulations do to the oil and gas companies. It's just the price of doing business for them. 2,800 infractions. So, you know, when an establishment politician says, oh, we just need to regulate it more closely, we just need to monitor it more closely, that's bullshit. That's corporate speak for we want to do nothing about this, and we don't care what's going on with this to the environment. Any person in the science community that's being honest with you, meaning the oil and gas company doesn't sign a paycheck for them, will tell you when it comes to fracking, the proper homework was not done. The damages outweigh the benefits by a fuck ton. It's water. It's freaking water. You can't fuck with water. I mean, that's not, you don't need to be a scientist to know that. You don't fuck with water. And any scientist will tell you, yeah, this is not, we did not do the proper legwork here. Andrew points out 2,800 infractions. Love it. You know me. Can't believe I broke my guitar string, you guys. You put a lot of emphasis on making sure you have people on the ground at the ODA. All right, so this is more bullshit. Oh, we're gonna protect it. Informer, all right, agrees. Strict enforcement is key. Republican dominate Ohio's legislators, so if a Democrat is elected governor, they'd have to work with conservatives who embrace fracking to make big changes. Well, you know, Dennis Kucinich certainly knows a thing or two, and I will say he's one of the few politicians that I really get excited about. He was the first politician I ever got excited about literally in my lifetime. I never got, you know, in 2004, I was really, really, really diehard into John Kerry, not because I thought John Kerry was a great candidate, not because I was excited about him, but because I hated Bush that much. Because I knew at that point Bush was a war criminal that needed to get the fuck out of office. And I was going to do anything it took to get Bush out of office. And of course, we failed, and Kerry lost because he was that uninspiring. In 2008, I was actually excited about the idea of Dennis Kucinich. I actually saw somebody running for president that ran on a platform I believed in, that ran on a platform that represented me. And Andrew's pun reached back to time and fractured your guitar string. I love it. I love it. So my point is, if there's anyone that knows about being against the grain, it's Dennis Kucinich. I mean, this guy has operated in Cleveland for years and years and years. He made some decisions that in the short term made everybody hate him, but in the long term saved the city a fuckload of money. And when it unfolded, he kept getting reelected and reelected and reelected and reelected because of it. They were like, this guy made an energy decision. I think it was in regards to like their lights. He's like, this guy made an energy decision that we all hated him for in the short term, but it ended up saving our ass in the long term. What a guy, right? So Dennis Kucinich knows about going against the grain. And if he were to become Ohio's governor, which I think it would be a great thing if he was, he'd really be able to rally the people. So I hope he ends fracking in that state, and I hope he becomes the governor. It's going to be a long haul, and he's going to face a lot of opposition. But he's one of the few good guys. He is one of the few good guys. All right, let's move on. If you have not sent an article yet, please do not do so because we are totally out of time. Yeah. We're not out of time in the show, but we definitely have some more articles. Let's see here. Platypus sends this in. Looks like this is from over in Australia. Hoodoo points out, in 2008, I wasn't woke and rolled Obama. I eventually voted for Obama. He wasn't my first choice, though. So Tra Apazzo points out, here's what we have to worry about. If anyone can make up a dossier on a U.S. citizen and get it through a court of law, then any one of us can be prosecuted by courts based on non-proven claims. I totally agree with you. But, and I hate to sound like a total cynic here, but is that something you didn't already know? And I mean that in a genuine way. Like, I mean that in a very sincere way. Like, I'm not trying to downplay what you just said, because you're 100% right. I don't disagree with you, but honestly, is that something you didn't already know? You know what I mean? Bending the rules when it comes to legal process is a bigger deal than just bending rules. Absolutely. But again, these intelligence agencies report to nobody, Jennifer W. points out, establishment politicians love vague platitudes. They sure do. Especially Democrats, because they're not allowed to have policies that people actually want, because their donors won't let them. Republicans, on the other hand, they're free to spread their brutal policies that only help the 1%, because 1% is the only thing that's in their party, pretty much. So it's a party of horrific, brutal ideas and a party of absolutely no ideas whatsoever. And Louis Black pointed that out years ago. By the way, the comedian Louis Black. We have two parties. The Republicans, a party of bad ideas. The Democrats, a party of no ideas. And that's by design. Marcelo Conte, we need a jobs program. We can't depend on corporations to be fair and trickle down their money. It does not work. Absolutely. It hasn't worked for years. It hasn't worked for 40 years. It's not going to start working all of a sudden. Trickle down has failed miserably. But Ron, when Democrats lead with their values, when we put hope on the ballot, we win. When we don't put hope on the ballot, we lose. It's up top Perez. I'm about as inspiring as a stale ham sandwich, but I do what the donors say. All right. So let's get back to the Twitter. We also got some stuff. All right. So here's from Platypus. The Australia-United States Defense Alliance, key issue, an enduring alliance with the United States, remains Australia's most important defense relationship and continues to act as a crucial force multiplier for Australian Defense Force capability. However, increasing financial constraints, the rise of China, and uncertain nature of the U.S. rebalance with the Pacific all pose important questions about how Australia will further consolidate its relationship with the U.S. across the next decade and beyond. So here's the financial constraints. The U.S.-Australia alliance is often described as being founded on shared values and bonds of friendship. What values are that? What values is that? Like endless war? Does Australia share that value with us? I was kind of hoping they didn't. But this ultimately means little without tangible evidence of collaboration. One of the clearest examples of Australia and the U.S. working together has been the defense relationship. Let's see. Yet despite Australia's public's continued enthusiasm for such collaboration, the alliance is fundamentally unequal, with the U.S. shouldering a far heavier financial and operational burden by virtue of its size. To engage with some of these challenges, Australia and the U.S. have made recent progress in finding new collaborative efficiencies. Although such initiatives will continue to provide Australia with unique levels of access and engagement with the U.S., this will not change the fact that Australia will continue to leverage U.S. defense capabilities unevenly. Meaning, we spend more on our military in the United States than pretty much the next 8 countries combined. Maybe more than that. No other country, any other country would look at our defense budget and say, holy shit, this is insane. So Australia is not going to spend anywhere close to what we spend. Why does that happen? Because we have an economy of war. We have an economy of war and an economy of death, just like other political empires and military empires that came before us. And we will fall just like all of them did. I mean, it's crazy to think things would end differently for us. And this is not like this is not some conspiracy. This is observing the reality of the role we play in the world, which is not only morally disgusting, and that's like putting it lightly, it's going to fail. Like it's going to fail. No economy of war has ever worked in the long run. Look at ancient Rome. Look at what Britain used to be. Look, I mean, it's not. Do we really think we're going to end any differently? Australia probably realizes how insane it is, so they're not willing to go all chips in the way we are. And as Hoot points out, Australia has a pony. Australia actually gives healthcare to their citizens. They have affordable education opportunities. They don't have the bullshit we have, at least not to the degree that we have it. They've done something similar to us. They've privatized the internet the way we did, and as a result, they have shitty Wi-Fi. Rise of China over the past decades, Australia's needs to contextualize its alliance with the U.S. Has come into stark focus because of China's increased economic power and strategic influence. Yeah, they're making stuff in China. They make stuff there. They produce stuff in their economy. They don't just have an economy of war. So China's growing dominance will undoubtedly challenge the status quo. Yeah. Bullshit Man points out, as an Aussie, we give the U.S. blowjobs, no questions asked. You staged a coup in 1975 with the U.K. Since then, we do whatever you want, including key U.S. intelligence military on our soil. I gotcha. You know, I get it. And you guys should just learn from our mistakes instead. You guys should be like, yeah, this is nuts. We're not invested in this. Sorry. If this screws over the alliance, oh well. Joe Hickey, the amount of USA hardware going through Europe at the moment is enough to make me puke with fear. Don't puke with fear, man. Use that more constructively. Being afraid is not fun. Puking for being afraid, that's even less fun. Instead of puking, I don't know, like lift weights or something. Puking sucks. Marcelo Conte, they added $80 billion to our military budget like it was nothing. Exactly. Money that could have been spent on healthcare or housing for the homeless or green energy. It's so sad. And we never even talked about it. The public was never even consulted. They were like, oh, $80 billion like that. Yeah, no problem. But when it comes to healthcare or education or infrastructure or a jobs program or renewable energy or green new jobs, how are we going to pay for all that? We only have drone money. That should be the slogan of the United States. We only have drone money. When it comes to endless war, all right, so implications of the U.S. rebalance. Australia's welcoming of a rotational deployment of U.S. Marines to Darwin as part of the U.S. resemblance provides a further example of the growing alliance. So the alliance is still there. However, basically, Australia is not putting the same into defense as we do because the amount we put into defense is absolutely insane. And no sane country, even countries that really want to be our ally, as Australia does, are willing to go that all in. And that, quite frankly, should tell us something. Platypus, thank you for sharing this. Very interesting article. I love Australia very much, and I really want to get down there. So if any of you guys are watching, want to book a show in Australia, get in touch with me. Let's make it happen. It's on my short list of places I want to go, and I've never been. So let's freaking do this. Let's freaking do this. All right, we are almost out of time. So let's get to another article. Use that slogan, Ron. We only have drone money. Marcelo Conte. I will, Marcelo. Thank you very much. I certainly will. Let's see. Let me give you guys some likes here. And Bullshit Man, thank you for sharing your summary. Since you're on the, we'll share, before we go to our next story, we'll go over Bullshit Man's summary on the FISO memo. Here's my own summary of the key findings. Steele paid $160,000 by the DNC and Clinton campaign to obtain derogatory info on Trump. None of the FISA applications disclosed this. Application used Yahoo News articles, which focus on Page's 2016 trip to Moscow. Steele supplied info directly, but the application states he did not provide it, which he did. Steele was suspended and terminated as an FBI source because of that. Steele should have been terminated for his previous undisclosed contacts with Yahoo. Before and after Steele was terminated as a source, he maintained contact with the Department of Justice. After the election, FBI interviewed him, and he admitted he was desperate that Trump would not get elected and was passionate about him not being POTUS. This is clear evidence of Steele's bias. Or provided the FBI with all his wife's opposition research paid for by the DNC and Clinton campaign via the Fusion GPS. Corroboration on the Steele dossier was in its infancy at the time of the initial application. In early 2015, okay, this is, all right. Summary 1. Basically, the FISA application process was completely and knowingly abused. The dossier was integral for the application, but the info was unverified, sourced, and funded by many people with anti-Trump bias. There was a good conspiracy against Trump, and that info that the conspirators provided was used in order to spy on Page. Senior officials knew about this bias and knew about the unreliability of the information, but used it anyway. And they conspired, went rogue, and broke rules in order to spy on Page and Trump. So implications: any evidence obtained illegally should not be accessible in court. Steele lied to the FBI. He should be charged as such. Senior officials who knowingly abuse FISA process should face consequences. That's Bullshit Man's. That's Bullshit Man's summary. Follow him at bullshit_hero on Twitter. Thank you for sharing that, Bullshit Man. Appreciate what you're doing. Appreciate your work. And thanks for sharing that on the stream. And Bree, thanks for bringing that to my attention. So let's go on to one less story. I got bars. I'm sorry, buddy. You are just a little late. We spent the first half of the show talking about the memo, but we kind of summed it up there. Yes, people abused their power as far as the application process went. People had some anti-Trump biases that were certainly not disclosed. The intelligence agencies do not like Trump. That's nothing that we didn't already know, nor is it news to us that when intelligence agencies really got a hard-on for anybody, they're going to get what they want, and they're going to break the rules to do so. And a lot of stuff was not disclosed regarding the DNC and Clinton. So these are a lot of biases that we already knew existed. And again, just to reiterate, Trump is despicable. And the reason that all these intelligence agencies are against him are for all the wrong reasons. For all the wrong reasons one could be against Trump, i.e. the fact that he'll unmask our brutal economy of war, not because unintentionally he'll unmask it because he's a nincompoop. That's why they don't like Trump. That's one reason to actually see the silver lining in regards to Trump. The fact that this guy is taking the mask off of how ugly our politics are because he doesn't have any subtlety. AP breaking: fired FBI Director James Comey slams secret memo. This is it. Exactly. And this is another reason why Russiagate needs to go away. Let's move on. We've already dedicated way too much time to this. All right. So this is Kimmy's story. Kimmy has a habit of always bringing depressing stories to the plate. And this is no different. This is about a suicide. And I heard about this, but we did not cover it on the show. Let me give you a Get Your News On with Ron retweet. Did I talk about the Baltimore police scandal? No, tweet it at me, and that's how we'll end. The oldest son of late Cuban leader Fidel Castro killed himself on Thursday after months of treatment for depression. The state media reported he was 68. Official website said Fidel Castro Diaz-Balart had been in a deeply depressed state. A brief note read on state television said his treatment had required an initial hospitalization, then outpatient follow-up. The oldest son of Cuba's late revolutionary leader was known for his resemblance to his father, earning him the nickname Fidelito, or Little Fidel. Castro Diaz-Balart studied nuclear physics in the former Soviet Union and served as a scientific advisor to Cuba's Council of State. He was vice president of the Cuban Academy of Sciences. He previously led its nuclear program. Castro Diaz-Balart was born to Fidel Castro's first wife. He died. Fidel Castro's father died at the age of 90 in November 2016. We all know that. Yeah, it's very sad. I don't know anything about this person. I mean, obviously I know who his father was. I did not know about his background in science. So, I don't know the sources of this guy's depression, but I can say it was probably a little irritating always being known as just his father's son and Little Fidel and Fidelito, where clearly he went a different direction. He wasn't in politics. He was in science. He was pretty high up in sciences at that. He really made a name for himself, but he probably couldn't get out of that shadow because of who his dad is. And that's got to be heavy, and I'm not trying to be funny. Like I'm being serious. Like that's got to be annoying and heavy. So yeah, I'm very sorry to hear that he committed suicide. I don't know anything about him really, other than what I just learned right now. So, yeah. All right. I'm going to go ahead and Google the Baltimore police. Wow. Oh, you tweeted one to me? All right. I'll get yours then. Oh, here we go. Thank you. This is from The Root. Let me go ahead and give it a Get Your News On with Ron retweet. This will be our last story today. Our last story for the week, actually. Baltimore cops kept toy guns to plant just in case they shot an unarmed person. Wow. In April 2016, a 13-year-old boy was shot by officers of the Baltimore Police Department. The boy ran when faced with the police, so they gave chase. During the chase, the police spotted the boy holding a gun, and when he turned, they shot the teenager. The youngster wasn't critically injured, and it seemed like an open and shut case of justifiable use of force. Now people are wondering. The Baltimore Police Department is currently in court over one of the biggest scandals in the history of American law enforcement. The corruption case is replete with intrigue as police reveal secrets that sound like something out of an urban fiction novel or a lost season of The Wire. It is revealed how one of America's largest cities just happened to be filled with crooked cops. But no one seems to be talking about it outside of Baltimore. According to the Baltimore Sun, it started when a 19-year-old woman from New Jersey overdosed, and authorities began tracing the origin of the drugs. It led to a Baltimore drug crew and discovery that a Baltimore police officer was involved. You want robbery? Okay, I want the meat in this article. This article is very, very long, and it's not getting to what actually is going on here. And then there's the revelation: the supervisors of the unit instructed officers to carry a toy gun just in case they found themselves. Here it is. Okay, and then there's the revelation that the supervisor of the unit instructed officers to carry a toy gun just in case they found themselves in a jam and needed to plant one. When one of the officers, Marcus Taylor, was arrested, officials couldn't figure out why he had a toy gun in his glove compartment. These revelations aren't speculations. 6 of the 8 indicted officers have agreed to cooperate with federal law enforcement agents and are testifying in open court. An officer who was scheduled to offer evidence against the crooked cops won't get to do so after he was mysteriously shot in the head with his own weapon the day before he was set to testify. Or maybe Baltimore is indicative of police departments all over the country. It's not just Baltimore cops, it is cops. They will shoot in the face in front of your infant daughter. They will choke you to sleep for selling cigarettes. They'll choke you to death for selling cigarettes. Allegedly selling cigarettes, by the way. We're not even sure that's exactly what he was doing at that time. We'll never know for sure. They will shoot you in the back for walking away, and they will get away with it so often that we are shocked when they are indicted. That's the real story. It's a good article. It took a while to get to the Baltimore cops carried toy guns to plant on people they shot. A trial reveals one officer involved in the city's massive corruption scandal said officers kept the replicas in case we accidentally shoot somebody, hit somebody, or get into a shootout so we could plant them. Last week, the beginning of an explosive corruption trial involving 8 members of Baltimore's elite gun trace task force revealed that a handful of Baltimore cops allegedly kept fake guns in their patrol cars to plant on innocent people. And again, this goes into the theme that I always hit on when I talk about law enforcement, that it's a systemic problem. They were ordered to do this. They were ordered to do this. They were instructed to do this. This is a systemic problem. So whenever somebody throws that dumb platitude at you, not all cops are bad, you say, shut up, that's a straw man. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a system that is broken beyond repair. We're talking about a broken law enforcement system. We're talking about cops not being trained properly, Corruption is encouraged. Cops are not screened properly. The job is not orchestrated properly. They are over-militarized. They are under-trained. It is a systemic problem. It is a broken system. So it doesn't matter that not all cops are bad. That's a straw man. That is a straw man. That is a distraction. That is a null and moot point. It's like saying, hey, there's an E. coli outbreak of lettuce. We got to recall all this lettuce. Oh, well, not all the lettuce is bad. Some of it's still good. That's not the point. It's an E. coli outbreak. It's a systemic problem. It's a problem. Got a couple things in the chat going on here. Derek Roberts says, Trump visited NASA and asked to see a picture of the Planet of the Apes. Let's see. Rumor has it Ron doesn't mind jumping on the guitar either. That's true, yeah. I'm going to play the theme song at the end here, although I do have a broken string. I broke my high E string here. So this is scary. I mean, this is gross. This is corruption at its finest. But this goes into, like, and DC points out, who does this attract? It doesn't attract the best candidate. The problem with our law enforcement, this systemic problem, we don't get strong candidates as a result of that. We get overgrown bullies that want to kill people. That's what we get with most cops because of the systemic problem. So it doesn't matter. I'm sure there's some people that get into law enforcement for the right reasons. And then you know what happens to them most of the time? They leave. They leave. Read some of the work from Michael Wood Jr., who, by the way, was a cop in Baltimore. That's where he was. He was in Baltimore. A lot of people that they were in it for the right reasons, and they quickly got corrupted or they got out. It's a broken system. Lucy is concerned. Lucy is concerned about the broken system that is law enforcement. So, guys, I guess that's the message to end on here. Recognize the difference between a systemic problem and an isolated incident. Corruption in our police is a systemic problem, not a collection of isolated incidents. And whenever somebody tells you, not all cops are bad, you tell them that. Be like, this is not an isolated incident. This is a systemic problem. She gets worried. Kimmy says that Lucy gets worried when I get a certain tone. Platypus says, keep up the amazing work, Ron. Thank you so much, Platypus. I appreciate that. Ron, I also think it's a system that harbors criminals. You're absolutely right, Sake. It does. It harbors murderers. It harbors murderers. Police can kill people with no consequence whatsoever. All right, guys, I got to go. We are totally out of time. How can you support this show more? You can become a patron. I really want to expand this show. I want to get it to 2 hours. And I can't do that without your help. I really can't. I want to get a monitor so that you guys can see what I'm reading. You guys can see the articles people send me and read along if you want. I want to expand it to 2 hours. I want to stream on more platforms. I want to get higher quality equipment. Need your help to do all that. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. You pay what you can. So for as low as $1 a month, you get exclusive content. I post every Wednesday and Sunday. Sunday, I do an exclusive podcast with my roommate Pasta. We call it Placone Pasta Progressives or something like that. We just, everything starts with P. Patrons only, Team Black One. And also when I'm touring in your town, which I'm going to be announcing even more dates soon, you get to go for free to any of my shows. Any of my shows, you get to go for free. So if you're a patron. So patreon.com/Ron Placone if you're so able. February 6th, David Hildebrand and I are going to be talking shop. We're going to be trying to work some things out. I don't want to see the progressive vote be split in 3 for the California Senate race. I don't want to see that happen. And we got 3 progressives running right now. All 3 of them seem to be pretty good candidates. I'd be happy to vote for any of the 3 of them so far based on what I know. But if all 3 of them run, we're going to split the progressive vote. And there's a good chance none of them will get in. And it might just be Feinstein versus a corporatist. So I'm going to talk to David Hildebrand on February 6th. We're going to see what solutions might exist there. We're going to talk it out, see what solutions we can come up with. So that's coming up on February 6th. David Hildebrand will be on this show on Get Your News On with Ron. Make sure to tune in. We do this every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So do I want to persuade Hildebrand to drop out? We'll see. We'll see. I don't have a specific agenda. I just want to talk to him about those issues, see what we can come up with together. Have a great show, a great day. Bella Ryan says, bummed I missed the show. It's all right, Bella. We'll be back. And, of course, there's always the replays and the clips over on the YouTube. Oh, I'm missing that E string. You can feel it. I'll try to do a power chord version of the theme so we don't miss the E string as much. So here we go. Excuse the one-string short version of the theme song, but, hey, we're doing this live. When a string breaks, I just got to keep going. I'm very slow at changing my guitar strings, so it would really take up way too much time. Guys, we are out of time. Have a great weekend. I will be back Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will see you then. And tweet at me if you want to go hurling on Sunday. Get your news on. I just want to know what's going on. Getting our news on today. Doing the power chords. Get your news on. I just want to know what's going on. Let's hope they don't start World War III. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your news on. I just want to know what's going on. Getting our news on today. Yeah, 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 yeah. This is Get Your News On with Ron. Thank you guys so much. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone. That's where you can tweet me articles. RonPlacone.com is my website. Patreon.com/RonPlacone if you are so able. I will be back Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Marcus, will you see me on Saturday? I do not believe so, sir. No. But I might be streaming over on the Jimmy Dore Show on Saturdays. You know, we do that Saturdays at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I love you all very much. Have a great weekend. Peace.